What's up, YouTube? Tenchi Arizonia, the angry Dracolope of the Jackalopecrew here, and today I have an unboxing. And as you can see, it is a rather large package. That is because this is my new sword to replace the Wakizashi that I mentioned in a previous video, which I will link in the description. So, what sword did I end up going with? Did I end up going with a Karl and I'd Hanway, or did I end up going with a windlass Steelcraft? Well, you will find out shortly after I've got the box open, because as you can see, this is a little bit big to unbox on camera. So I'll get back to you once I've got it unboxed, and then you'll know what sword I went for. Enjoy. Okay guys, the new sword is unboxed. So what did I get? Well, what I got is the Hanway Bastard Sword. Specifically, the antique finish. And take it from me, this is a big boy. Right here we have a sealed butt cap on the scabbard, so yeah, that was it hitting the floor. And you can see it comes up to about my shoulder, maybe just above the shoulder, more the throat. This is a big sword. Overall length on this is 4.02 feet long. I think that's about 4 feet and 2 inches. So, let's give it a look, shall we? Yeah, that is a big, beautiful sword. Now, I don't know much about swords, so any of the folk on YouTube that are, please let me know if the weight of this sword is about right. Now, if memory serves me correctly, this sword is just over a kilogram, I think 1,130 grams. I'll double check that when I get back to my desk. But this is a beautiful, beautiful sword. The antique finish really gives it a legit medieval look. And yes, this is a sharpened sword, but the sharpened edge does not start till about a third of the way up the blade, I believe. Which I can understand why, because a sword this size, although it has a hand and a half grip, actually I'd class that as a full two-handed grip, to be honest. You can also get your hand on the blade and use that as extra handling down there. So yeah, I can understand why it's not sharpened all the way up the blade. And I don't know how sharp the edge is, but we'll find out, because I intend to try to do some cut testing with this, maybe on some bottles or on some pool noodles, because I have quite a few of those available. Anyway, let me get back to my desk, and then I will get you the full specifications on this sword. Oh, and by the way, the blade steel is 1566 spring steel. This is a rather chunky boy compared to my katanas. So yeah, let me just get back to my desk after I get this back in its scabbard. And I'll get the stats and give you my final thoughts on this absolute fucking unit of a sword. Enjoy the rest of the video. Well, I'm back at my desk, guys, and I have pulled up the Karl and I'd website to hopefully give you the most accurate information on my new sword. Because as I understand it, Karl and I'd is the parent company for Hanway. So let's get on to the specifications for my Hanway Bastard Sword, shall we? Now, as I mentioned previously, is the antique finish version, but that doesn't affect any of the stats I'm going to discuss here. However, full disclosure, I did have to pull one of the stats, which is the grip length, from a different website. So I'll let you know that when I get to that measurement. So, first off, overall length is 50 1/8 inches. That means it is a shade over 4 feet long. I think it's about 4 feet, 1.16 inches, something like that. Blade length is 38 3/4 inches long. Grip length, and this is the bit I had to source elsewhere, is 9.25 inches long. And I know what you're thinking. how can the overall length of the sword be 50 and 1/8 inches long with a 38 and 3/4 inch blade and a 9.25 inch handle? Well, that's quite simple really, because the grip length does not take into account the crossguard or the pommel. So that's where the extra length comes from. On to the next part. Point of balance is 5.5 inches from the crossguard. Point of harmonics is 25 inches. So point of harmonics is also called the center of percussion. Width of the blade at the guard is 1.94 inches. Width of the blade at the tip of the guard, Width at the tip of the blade is 0.95 inches. Thickness of the blade at the guard is 0.22 inches, and width of the blade at the guard is 0.22 inches, and thickness at the tip of the blade is 0.16 inches. So yes, this blade does have distal taper. And the blade steel is 1566 spring steel, which is a high carbon spring steel. Now, this is something that's kind of ironic because Cat Iberia lists the correct steel. Some other sites just list it as high carbon or as EN45 steel. Now, I'm pretty sure that EN45 and 1566 are different steels. However, I'm not familiar with swords enough to be able to tell you if that is of any use. Oh, and I forgot the weight of the sword, which is £2 and 9 ounces. I previously mentioned it was 1,130 grams. It's actually 1,160 grams or 1.16 kilograms, £2 9 ounces. Anyone who's experienced with swords, European or otherwise, please feel free to let me know if that is in the ballpark of accurate weight for a sword. I had no idea. But I will say I'm really impressed with this sword. It's a really nice looking sword with the antique finish. The pictures I saw of it really did not do it justice, because that finish does have some texture to it as well. So it literally feels like an antique sword. Anyway, that's the specifications, and this is the last part of today's video on the unboxing of my new sword. I might have bitten off a little more than I can chew given how big that sword is. So before anyone asks me, no, I am not going to be getting a sword frog and wearing it on my hip when I do test cutting, because there is no way in hell, no way, that I could draw that sword from the scabbard on my hip. Because, well, just because of the size of the blade. It's a 38 and 3/4 inch blade, and I can just about manage to draw a katana with a 28.5 inch blade. So yeah, it's about 10 inches, 10.25 inches longer than I can comfortably draw from the hip. So I won't be doing that. Now, if I had something like a scabbard, maybe it'd be possible. And if you know what the scabbard is, you obviously watch Shadiversity like I do. And I might actually tag him in this unboxing video, see if he actually checks it out and gives me accurate information. It tells me if it's accurate information on the weight, if it's within spec for a medieval sword, because yet he knows swords pretty well. Anyway, that's all for now. If you like it, please subscribe, comment, and share. And remember, be good to each other.